That's lovely to hear, though, isn't it? I can't even imagine going out and somebody going to you like, you've changed my life.
Yeah, it's like one person, like, back in the day, like 2019, like the peak of my social media thing, had a meet and greet in my hometown. And these girls were just telling me, like, you know, we're getting bullied in school, you've really helped me out. Literally, I went to the toilets and I was just crying. I was like, oh my God, like, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life, because if I can help, like, girls going through it and growing up, then I'm good.
Yeah,
What
absolutely.
was the motivation to start being so mental health positive on social media?
Well, I've got a little sister, she's 14. So I was thinking, you know, her friends follow me, and I was having a hard time at school. I didn't really have anyone to look up to. Like, I was following people, influencers, but they didn't really highlight mental health back in the day when I was like, this is 2015. So it was a big thing. Mental health is being spoken about more nowadays. And I thought, I want to be someone that people can look at and be like, it's okay not to be okay.
Yeah.
It's such a big thing for us as well. We've done kind of quite a few podcasts now. We've had India, obviously Nick last week. He's one of Tom's friends who's clinically depressed, and it's very good to put it out there, show that it is okay to feel these things in your head. And the main thing is a lot of young people are being affected by it nowadays. The amount of numbers goes just going up and up, especially with COVID.
Generations are 100% suffering more with depression, anxiety than we were back then, because there's more pressures nowadays. How social media affects younger generations is so important. They've got to live up to these standards that didn't exist when we were younger. Like, we're all 22, 23?
I'm 22, yeah.
20, but yeah. Same conversation. Okay. It's fine. You can include me.
In the early 2000s.
Yeah.
So when we were in secondary school, we just started getting phones.
Yeah.
We just started, you know, oh my God, Snapchat came out. But they're growing up with it,
that.
you know. They're not living out how we lived out. There's more pressures, like 13, 14-year-old kids are having to put on a face and, like, be on Instagram showing how their life is. We didn't have that. We had that, like, 15, 16.
Yeah.
And we were growing up into that technology. They were born into it. So it's a lot more pressure. And then they see all these influencers, their role models, and they're like, I want to look like this, I want to look like that. They're like 25, and you're like 13. When my little sister was telling me, I want to start wearing makeup, I'm like, took her phone off her. So I stopped watching this stuff.
How old is your sister?
She's 14.
14, yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, she's 14 years old, and I was like, she was telling me, oh yeah, like, my friends invited me out to the field to get drunk. I'm like, sorry, what?
To be fair, though, I mean...
14, I was getting drunk.
No,
I know what you mean, yeah.
Yeah, but like...
Sorry, Mum.
I mean, like, doing drugs.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's
Slightly
mass.
different, yeah.
Obviously, they all got their phones out, and I'm like, digital footprint.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want my sister involved in any of that stuff. Like, I'm like kind of third parenting her.
Yeah.
Because I know what I did.
Yes.
I know what kids are doing now.
Yeah.
And like, it's really scary because there's so many different things that kids are being pressured into. I've got a friend, and her sister is acting like 18 years old, but she's like 12.
Jesus,
and it's like, they're not growing up and having a real childhood. They're just jumping into this, wanting to be older. I mean, I completely get it. When I was like 16, 17, I was like, can't wait to be an adult. Now I'm like, take me back to like science class.
Genuinely. What do you think that young people can do as well, just to get themselves out of this sort of like rut of comparing themselves to these influencers, like you say?
Well, you know what? Comparison is the enemy of happiness. Someone's always going to be better. Someone's always going to be prettier. Someone's always going to be more successful. If you keep comparing yourself to others, you'll never, ever be happy. Because I genuinely think we are created uniquely in our own ways. So with comparison, like, say your Instagram Explore, it shows what you are viewing every day. If we compared each other's, whatever your interests are, mine are just quotes. I see my friends, it's like models. I'm like, you're constantly being reminded, you're not this person. They have this, they have that. You need to change it. If you're not interested or it fuels your mind in a positive way, you need to press not interested.
Yeah.
Because that's that actually interests you. No, you just want that life, and you're not inspired, you're jealous.
No, that's literally spot on. Yeah. I remember even, because my sister's his age, But I remember even when I was at school, and me and my sister were very close, so even though there was only a 2-year age gap, I could see the difference already, because even 2 years of having the phone 2 years earlier, having social media 2 years earlier, you can see the impacts. And I remember speaking to my mates even when I was 17, 18, and just we already knew, everyone knew back then, that the younger generation was getting older faster.
Yeah, 100%.
And it's just continuing to happen. I remember kind of a family friend was like 9, 10. He had like an iPad, the newest iPhone, everything, and I was throwing a brick down a stairs at your age, seeing if it would break or not. And
I don't know if that's everyone your age, maybe just you.
It's like a phone that was literally a brick, and we'd be at school and we'd just chuck our phones down the stairs, see if they break, and they wouldn't. Whereas if you chucked an iPhone down the stairs now,
long day.
But yeah, it's changed so much, and it's great to have you on to talk about that, because obviously,
I appreciate it. Thank you for having me.
that's right. And obviously our only sponsor is BetterHelp, which we think for us is a very important sponsor.
It's very important, because a lot of people, even if you have like 10, 20 friends, you can still feel alone. And I say this because I have a lot of influencer friends, and a lot of the time with influencing, you could have a brand deal 1 week and get nothing for a month. And you were literally just sat in bed scrolling through TikTok, going to sleep, waking up, getting ready, film one TikTok, going to bed, and you could not be with anyone for a week, and that's completely normal. It shouldn't be, because you should be surrounding with your friends and having good times, having wholesome moments.
Yeah.
But with influencing, like, a lot of people don't understand, it can be very, very lonely.
Yeah.
I want to ask, sorry, briefly, because I know you touched on the beginning how you wouldn't class yourself as an influencer because you don't know what you influence, but you obviously are. And we've seen that with, like, you going to premieres and stuff like that, and you've got a massive TikTok following, big Instagram following. But I wanted to know, and you kind of briefly touched on it, but what to you is it to be an influencer? Like, what does that word even mean? Because it's thrown about so much, but what actually is one for you?
In the name, you're influencing something, whether you're a makeup artist, whether you're a comedian, whether you're just someone who sits in front of the camera. There's a young girl I know, same age as my sister. Her name's Amy Charlize. She's got a couple million on TikTok, and she puts her phone up in the morning. She's like, get ready with me to go to school. And in my mind, I know how many people she's helping just like start the morning, because I'll watch her and be like, all right, she's got this, I got this. So she's influencing, you know, a better mindset for people and showing that this is my life. It's okay, like, not to be okay. I'm having a bad morning, but you just got to get on with it. Because none of us chose to be here. We're just all trying to get through life. And we all struggle from time to time. So you just got to be kind. And there's too much negativity in the world. So just try to bring in a positive energy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I wanted to take it back to the kind of you can say how you may have 10, 20 friends and still be lonely. There are cases where people will have loads of friends, like they'll have lots of followers, lots of friends as well in their own personal life. But sometimes because people have lots of friends, it's them making up for things, and they can actually feel really lonely because they won't necessarily have kind of. You always have that trio, let's say, in your friendship group where it's you and 2 other people where you're really close with, and sometimes just. People need to be wary of the fact that, yes, someone may seem to be really happy with lots of people around them, but it can be very lonely as well.
100%. I think people who look the happiest are struggling the most because they're just trying to put on a brave face. Like, a lot of my friends do influencing again, but I know when we're just off our phones, we have our cries. You know, it's really difficult when your life is out there. You always want to seem happy, but that's not the reality of things. We all go through hard times because you can't be good without being bad. So when you are bad, you need the right people to surround yourself in just to be able to talk about it, because there's an analogy. If, say you've got a bucket, you keep pouring water in it, if you don't talk about it, it's eventually going to overflow. So just be with people who love you when you're bad and when you're good.
Yeah. It's a good message.
Very good message.